Peninnah had sons and daughters. But here we have Elkanah was behaving as if he really loved Hannah, so he gave her a double portion. But brethren, it's not every time the double portion really spelled out to be the right thing. Giving a double portion, that is, they wanted tangible things. But what Hannah really loved, what Hannah really wanted, was a son. But we can move on. Such expectations of Hannah produced abuse. Hannah looked on to see, well, how he treated the second wife. And Hannah there was very unhappy. Unhappy families. If a wife could not bear children, she was obliged by ancient Middle East customs to give over servant girls to her husband to bear children for her. That's a very unhappy situation. Very unhappy and very unaccepted. Although Elkanah could have left Hannah, who was barren then, he remained lovingly devoted to her despite social criticisms and rights under the civil law. See, brethren, not everything at all that happens there that was really right. Elkanah did what he thought was really right to Hannah by giving her something, yes, but Hannah still feared that she was a rightful wife and she should get a son. But God made something happen to Hannah. God closed up her womb. God closed the womb, but then, Peninnah bore children. And that brought on dissatisfaction throughout. Although Elkanah could have done and left Hannah, and she was barren, only temporary barrenness came in there, but God happened to it to be so. What about the moral law? It was a lack of faith on Elkanah's part to contract a marriage. Elkanah said, look, Hannah said, well, if I want a son or daughter, or if I want somebody, I must take another person. And Elkanah held on to that. Well, let me speed on. Hannah wept bitterly. A woman, I believe, she was right to do that. She was right to really weep bitterly, continually. Hannah's outward circumstances, that of barrenness, the closing up of her womb, she wanted a son, but God moving ahead with his plan. You see, Peninnah was one of those persons who went to meet Hannah. She would provoke Hannah down and in and out. Mock her. Say all manner of evil against her. But the record said, Hannah wept bitterly. These are the ways, brethren, that people of mankind are behaving today. The second wife, jealous, made her life miserable for Hannah. A woman is at her best in a home when she's the only lover of her spouse. When you don't have a rivalry going on, brethren, it will make things be very uncomfortable. Money does not bring happiness. A big house does not bring happiness. But children would bring happiness. Education would bring no happiness, but all that Hannah wanted was a son. Marriage is a sacred circle. Divorce occurs when another man or woman enters that circle. Trouble begins. I urge you, young men, women, if you're not married, do not be content to be a spare tire. Wait until the Lord bless you with a compassion or a companion of your own. If I were driving a car and I had no spare wheel, I would be a miserable person. that does not mean that in the marriage circle you must really have a spear wheel. Two different things. Under torment, under ridicule of the highest nature, by her rival Penina, Hannah wept and uttered not a word. She prayed. You know, there are times when you want something to happen, the best thing at all for you to pray to do then is to pray. Hannah did not stay into the home where she was there lonely. Hannah said, well, the time is coming now when I have to really go at a place where you can really get assistance. And Hannah chose to go to the temple. She chose to go to the church, where she get help from the members of the church to really console her and really pray with her. Not to stay into the house there and be poor and be tormented by Penina's provocation. But Hannah went to the temple. You see, the more you go to the temple, the more Satan pulls you back from the assistance that you can really get into the temple. The more pulled back you get, the more strength she had to go forward. Hannah prayed. You know, when she was there praying, Hannah was there weeping and sobbing, as women will always do. Elkanah would ask the question, why do you weep? He knows the reason why she was weeping. Why cannot you eat? How can a woman really eat under this tormented situation when being provoked by your rival? Why is her heart being grieved at this time, Hannah? Elkanah was asking all these pertinent questions along with Elkanah. Both of them were provoking her utterly to the worst. Am I not better to you than 10 sons? That's what Elkanah asked Hannah. You're weeping. Am I not better than 10 sons? If you want one, am I not better than if I had 10? Very pertinent question. This is music to the ears when we express our love to each other in words. But Paul says in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 25, husbands, do what? Love what? Love your wives as Christ loved the church. Anna knew her husband loved her, yes, but even his encouragement could not comfort her. Think of those in your world who need your love and support during their similar struggle. It is difficult to pray in the faith when we feel so ineffective. But Anna prayed, and her prayers went to work. Hannah made a promise, as most women will really do. If she could only get one son, she would give back that son to the Lord. But what happened? She received encouragement from Eli. Here we have Eli, the priest of the church, the temple. And Hannah went to the temple and put her grievance there to Eli. And Eli, that high priest, prayed with Hannah. They called there an altar call. And right in the same church there, as Hannah was coming up, Eli went to meet her and asked what's the problem, and she put out all the problems there to Eli, the priest of the temple. The record said that Eli prayed with her. And Eli prayed so sincerely, and Eli found out, well, she could be a child according to the strength of your faith, be it unto you. And according to the strength of Eli's faith, be it unto him likewise. Not to have a child, but to see to it that she would really be a son. The record tells that after Eli prayed with Hannah, Eli sent her back to Elkanah. This is the backward move now. Eli sent her back to Elkanah. And the record said that Elkanah went into her, and what happened? She not only bore one, she bore one first, Samuel. But the record went on to say, because she made a promise, if I would only get one, I would give it back to God. But counsels really helped. And Elkanah and Hannah, Samuel brought comfort and joy to their homes. But not only did she really have one, not only did she have one, God honored the desires of faithful Hannah by not only giving her one son, but 5 other children, 3 sons and 2 daughters. What a faith demonstrated there by Hannah and Eli. And the record said for over 2 years, Eli had a little Samuel there counseling him as a little child and helping him to grow spiritually. Eli could have mingled with Samuel could have mingled there with Eli's 2 sons who were very botheration as we call it today. But he chose not to really mingle on the opposite side of faithfulness and spiritual strength. Eli's sons could not really persuade Samuel. They grew up there, but he did not yield to the 2 sons of Eli. Brethren, the hatred and jealousy of the second wife, Peninnah, did not trouble her. Nothing in this world can make us sad when Jesus can make you glad with his presence. The role of father and mother in the Christian home is summed up in Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Therefore, like Hannah, Jochebed, and others in the Bible, we need to pray daily for our children. And like Manoah, say, Lord, how shall we order the child? What shall we do for him? Like Samson, some I have made the wrong choices. Do not give up. Continue to intercede for them. Although Samuel was exposed to the wickedness of Hophni and Phinehas, sons of Eli, he was not influenced by their evil traits. Bad company did not destroy Samuel. Look at the resume now that Samuel took up or carried through his life. The resume there, according to the Bible, according to the books that you can read for commentary. He grew up to be a prophet and a priest. 1. 2, he was a political leader, the last of the judges. 3, he anointed King Saul and King David. 4, he was a spiritual leader, calling the people back to worship the true God. 5, he was an educator. He started the schools of the prophet. All these qualifications, all these the likings of little Samuel. This was his resume. I am sure that when Samuel gets to heaven, he will honor his spiritual father and mother throughout eternity. Today I appeal to us all as a church, brethren. The little ones in our company, they need our support. As parents, we need to strengthen them daily. They make mistakes, yes. We likewise make mistakes, yes. But where we can help them, let us help them. They are our modern Samuels. Provocation may come to us as parents, to mothers and fathers, but they are offenders of God in the Bible who committed polygamy repeated times in God's sight. And God forgave them. I ask a big question here as I close now, brethren. What happened to Hannah can happen to us today, can happen to you today, ladies. What happened to Elkanah could likewise happen to us today, gentlemen. Children in our midst, or parents are there to guide you. Follow our example. And by following our example, by asking God to give you the strength to follow our example, we likewise need the very strength to lead you May we all follow God aright and alike, and not to be called men of the boggarts of the underworld, but let us remain strong in God's sight. May God hear our prayers. May God answer our prayers. This is our stewardship responsibility, and this is God's timetable for us as a people and likewise as a church. In due time, he will grant us our desires. Amen.
I would like to thank Brother Lenny for his sermon this morning. For closing, we stand and sing 229. All hail the power of Jesus' name.
Jesus' name, let angels prostrate fall. Bring forth the royal diadem and crown him Lord of all. Bring forth the royal diadem and crown him Lord of all. Hail him who saves you by his grace and crown him Lord of all. Hail him who saves you by his grace and crown him Lord of all. Let every king and every tribe on this celestial wall to him all majesty ascribe and Lord of all. To him all majesty ascribe and crown him Lord of all. That which yonder sacred throne lay at his feet before, join in the everlasting and crown him Lord of all. Join in the everlasting song and crown him Lord of all. Thank you so much.
Let's bow our head for the benediction. Almighty Father, thank you for time spent in your sanctuary today. As we go away, dear Lord, we ask you to be our guide and protector. We ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.